Throughout our Elden Lore series, we've been exploring the various knight factions of the Lands Between. From the Crucible to the Clean Rod, we've dug through the possible histories of all the knight factions connected to the Golden Order. But what about the knights that fought against those who worship gold? The ones who prepared themselves for battle against the Golden Order for the glory of their own royal family. These knights were small in number, but were known as an elite force across the Lands Between, and consisted of humans, trolls, and even a dragon. Today we are exploring the most requested knight faction from our comments section, the Carian Knights, loyal servants of the Carian royal family. Who were they? How did one become a Carian Knight? What was their purpose? And why do they number so few by the time we've reached the Lands Between? Let's try to answer these questions together. Before diving into the lore of the Carian Knights, we wanted to take a moment and ask you to subscribe to our channel. Whether this is your first time with us, or you've seen a few of our videos here and there, thanks for joining us. As the Elden Lore series grows, so too has the incredible community that's followed since the beginning of our channel. We absolutely love seeing all of the discourse in the comments, diving into people's theories about the various lore threads we can find throughout Elden Ring. We make sure to read every comment and respond as often as possible. So if you want to join us in our theorizing and exploration, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you never miss out on new episodes in this series. With that said, let's get back to these Spellblades. As we said, the Carian Knights were once an elite force in the Lands Between, with their own weapon giving us insight into the size of their order. The Carian Knight's sword is a straight sword embedded with a blue glintstone, weapon of knights sworn to Carian royalty. These knights' swords could serve as catalysts, letting them wield sorcerous battle skills. Despite numbering fewer than 20, this power made them a match for even the champions of gold in battle. So fewer than 20 knights have ever sworn this oath to the Carian royal family and been accepted at this level. This may be due to the size of the royal family, as it only contained Rennala, Radagon, Rykard, Radahn, and Lunar Princess Ranni. With a family of only 5 members to defend, it would make sense so few would reach this level. Each of these knights carried the Carian filigree crest, a talisman adorned with the royal crest, an honor said to have once been awarded to Carian knights, who served as direct retainers to the kingdom's princesses. Now there is only one princess, Ranni, daughter of Rennala. Interestingly, this item seems to imply that Radagon and Rennala may have had more children than we know about, as the Carian royal family was not considered royal until Rennala took over Raya Lucaria Academy, as we know from the Remembrance of the Full Moon Queen. In her youth, Rennala was a prominent champion who charmed the academy with her lunar magic, becoming its master. She also led the Glintstone Knights and established the House of Carya as royalty. The perplexing statement about multiple princesses aside, the armor of the Carian Knights gives us a clue as to what happened to their order. The Carian Knight armor is described as armor of the enchanted knights that once served the Carian royal family. The enchanted knights anointed by the Lunar Queen were heroes of the highest honors, but fell into disarray with the decline of the royal family. The decline of the royal family is not properly outlined, but it stands to reason that this coincided with the shattering. The Carian Knight shield tells us, the Carian Knight shield is a teardrop-shaped shield embedded with blue glintstones, carried by knights who served the Carian royal family. Excels when facing magic or holy attacks. Just who were these knights preparing to fight? We believe that after Radagon was called back to marry Marika, the Carian Knights began preparing themselves to do battle with both the Academy and the Golden Order, seeing the writing on the wall regarding an inevitable betrayal. Radagon married Rennala to broker peace between the two factions, and with that marriage dissolved, the only thing keeping the peace was the Golden Order's new familial ties to the Carians in their lord's children. They were right, of course, as after the shattering, the Carian Knights attacked Carya Manor, and the children of the Full Moon Queen went their separate ways in pursuit of their own goals, with Ranni being the only member of the family to stay behind. At this time, the Order likely disbanded, save for a few dedicated souls. This included an unnamed troll found within Carya Manor, Bol's Carian Knight, who was captured by the Cuckoos, Moongrum Carian Knight, and most surprisingly, Glintstone Dragon Abdullah. It's surprising to learn that the Carian Knights counted trolls among their elite ranks. While we know that the Carians and the trolls shared a partnership, the Troll Knight's sword illuminates just how close this relationship was. Greatsword embedded with a blue glintstone, weapon of the trolls in service to the royal family of Carya. Called into service when the queen invoked an oath they swore, the trolls are treated as true knights of Carya and fight arm in arm with their human comrades. So not only were the trolls allies of the royal family, but they were treated as true knights. The spell Great Blade Phalanx sheds more light on their relationship. One of the sorceries of the Carian royal family creates a defensive arch of larger magic glint blades overhead, which automatically attack nearby foes. Used by the enchanted Troll Knights, they were the comrades of a young Rennala, bound by oath. Presumably, long before she demonstrated her prowess to Raya Lucaria and became the master of the academy, Rennala cultivated a relationship with the trolls, teaching them her Carian sorceries, and forging a bond that would one day grant these trolls a place as heroes of the highest honor. More Troll Knights can be found defending places of great importance to the Carian royal family, like the converted Fringe Tower, and a puppet of a Troll Knight can be found on the road to Raya Lucaria, north of the Liurnia Highway North Site of Grace. There are 3 more headless Troll Knights defending the 4 belfries, but we're uncertain if these are related to the Carian Knights, even though they do wield the same weapons. The only humanoid Carian Knight we can encounter in the lands between is Moongrum. He stands outside the elevator to Queen Rennala's library and defends the entrance with his life. It is through Moongrum that we see how Carian Knights fought in their glory days. He wields the Carian Knight sword and shield, but will also switch to a Carian glintblade staff. He casts Carian Piercer, one of the sorceries of the Carian royal family. Conjures a magic greatsword to impale foes. This sorcery forms a counterpart to Carian Greatsword, highly lethal when used against single foes riding alone. You could assume that Moongrum stays here defending the way to Rennala because he wants to continue protecting the queen, even though she's lost herself completely to the Amber Egg. But when considering what we learned from the Carian filigreed crest, it seems much more likely he was actually posted here by Ranni to protect what's left of the mother she admired so deeply. After all, we see Ranni's other failsafe meant to protect her mother when we do battle with the conjured form of Rennala in her prime. Last but not least, we have the final living Carian Knight, Glintstone Dragon Abdullah. We understand if you think it's a stretch to consider this dragon a Carian Knight. However, upon defeating her at the Cathedral of Manu Celeste, we obtain Abdullah's Moonblade. Sorcery of Abdullah the Glintstone Dragon conjures a cold magic greatsword, then delivers a sweeping blow that launches a blade-like projectile of frost. Abdullah, a devourer of sorcerers, was bested by Ranni and subsequently swore a knightly oath to her dark moon. Upon pledging an oath to Ranni, Abdullah took on the role of a Carian royal knight, even going so far as to develop her own Carian sorcery, likely powered by the many sorcerers she devoured over the years. Abdullah fills this role well, as she is the last line of defense between any who attempt to stop Ranni from completing her goal and slaying her 2 fingers. She is Ranni's defender and knight, just as much as any other humanoid knight of Carya. There are others you could consider as Carian Knights, and we want to address these characters. Clearly, Blythe is Ranni's knight, but more importantly, he is her shadow, granting him a station above that of any regular knight. We believe the same can be said for Loretta before she became a Knight of the Halig Tree. She originally pledged herself to the Carian royal family, and her armor even says she was once a royal Carian knight. But it seems like she may be the closest thing they had to a leader, just below the royal family itself. Loretta was always seen on horseback, and melded her magic to a war sickle, never a sword. Perhaps her departure from her station at the Carya Manor also played a role in the dissolution of the Knights. These warriors, said to be able to match the champions of gold in battle, were known for their prowess with both sword and staff. They expertly wielded sorceries like Carian Phalanx, Carian Retaliation, Lucidity, and Carian Greatsword, alongside the weapon skill Carian Grandeur, making them an incredibly elite fighting force. In the end, no matter how strong they may have been, their order was no match for the single-minded selfishness of the demigods. Had it not been for Radagon's betrayal of Renala, driving her obsession with the Amber Egg, and the machinations of her children, the Order of the Carian Knights would likely have survived to this day, still defending the pride of Carya. But sadly, this was not to be. Between the blasphemy of Rykard, Radagon's push to take the Elden Throne, Renala's loss of self, Ranni's plotting from the shadows, and possibly Loretta's absence, this noble order collapsed in on itself, with only a few left behind to serve the Carian royal family and prove the strength that once labeled them heroes of the highest order. What do you think of the Carian Knights? If Renala was never enchanted by the Amber Egg, do you think their order would live on to this day? Why do you think their order all but disbanded? Why is it that the Carian Knight build was so popular in the early days of Elden Ring? Do you consider Abdullah a true Carian Knight? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of our lore dives. We look forward to seeing you again for more Elden Lore.